They say muskie are the fish of 10,000 casts, but we landed 5 in 24 hours, and we did it without LiveScope. Trusting our systems, making the right decisions, and a little bit of luck. This trip was one for the books. Welcome back to another episode in our hunt for the Giants of Georgian Bay. This season has been a busy one, but not with musky fishing. While we've snuck out for a few hours here and there, this is going to be the first weekend all season dedicated to chasing the fish at 10,000 casts. While the calendar says October and the leaves are changing colors, it still feels a lot like summer. Sunny bluebird skies, daytime highs in the mid-20s, and water temperatures that refuse to start cooling. This is not what you hope to see when making fall fishing trip plans. In these type of conditions, bite windows can shrink considerably. Heading to our first spot, we notice the water temperatures are in the low to mid 60s depending on the area. While this temperature does suggest the muskie will still be active enough to chase bucktails and swimbaits, we found the heat wave or lingering summer daytime heat scenarios cause them to be a little more lethargic. But we're going to split the boat with moving baits and pull pause style baits until we get some action to be sure. Our plan for this weekend is not that solid. It's a mix of exploring new spots and expanding on some history from previous seasons, while trying to balance where we can fish due to the expected high winds. But we're also unsure if fish will still be holding in summer spots or will have started moving back closer to spawning areas. After fishing a few summertime spots with no success, and seeing other boats hopping between other summer spots we had on our radar, we begin moving back towards spawning areas, and as we do, the water is warming ever so slightly. This weed bed out of the wind and tucked behind an island is a warm pocket more than half a degree warmer than the waters around it.
Yeah.
As the sun bakes down, the sky is clear, and our bluebird, the likelihood of a chasing bite is diminishing, so we can start casting the pull pause and dive rise baits more and more.
Oh, he got off.
Oh.
No. That was a tiny, tiny guy.
At least we found a spot.
It was on, and I thought I was in the weeds because I didn't really feel anything. And then I set the hook anyways, and then I still didn't think he was on, and then I saw it twist him.
While still warm for this time of year, mid-60s is less than what is optimal for muskie to digest food. The majority of our fishing strategies for any species revolves around the belief that each species will seek out their optimal temperature range at all times. Since we are below the optimal, we should be looking for the warmest water possible, and the muskie shouldn't be too far behind.
20 minutes left of the major, so we should probably go hit up that little pocket there, eh? I'll go hit that up and maybe do a trolling pass through here afterwards. I'm talking where the water used to run in.
Oh, off the waterfall there. Oh yeah.
Yep. Like, there's been big fish there in the fall, so. Yep.
We didn't know it at the time, but this decision right here was the one that would change the whole trajectory of this trip. With the major nearing its end, we head to a spot with some history of fall muskie, and it's the warmest water we've found yet.
A weed or something just took off. Kind of looked like it's a big old thing right there on me.
I'm up. You got it?
Got it, baby. Lift. Yeah! Good thing she's up. Yeah, baby. I thought it was a fish. Oh.
While this may not be the biggest muskie, that was a sick boatside eat. Breaks the skunk and gives us some solid clues as to what's going on, and that's worth celebrating.
What'd you lose it for?
Even more than getting this fish in the boat, I wish the jump was captured on camera. It was a thick, high 40-inch class fish that came clean out of the water and threw the bait back at the boat, as if to say, better luck next time.
Well, break time.
Hey?
Break time.
Break time. Troll, you mean?
Yeah. So now the important question: what are we trolling?
What an option.
Oh, cool.
Trolling is a good way to break up a day casting big baits, but it also helps give you a better understanding of the area. Looking for signs of life with electronics, checking water temperatures, and water clarities, you can gather a ton of information in a hurry, which will help make good decisions. I think we're onto something. The warmer water is holding the fish. Fortunately, we've got a few more areas in mind that are similar, and we can put that theory to the test.
What about down that gut where you lost the camera that night?
Yeah.
Hey?
I was kind of thinking there, and then
down
maybe
they're
this.
all stacked up in there.
Yeah, maybe this point
Yeah.
here we fished over here, but we didn't really fish this. Maybe that. I think that's a good plan.
We've seen all kinds of bait fish activity here in the past, but no musky success. Today, all signs are pointing to it being a hotspot.
Coming. Where's it?
Oh, yeah, huge.
Hold on. Come here. Yeah. Oh, no, he's on there.
Holy.
Wow.
Okay.
Warm water, another fish.
Keep it up. I'll never hear the end of it.
Good job.
Nice net job.
Yeah, good job getting it out of the way when it dove. Like that was
But good dog.
good job. Good job.
He wouldn't come in. He
No.
just.
Nothing like getting thrown right into the fire to learn. Not only has Albina never net a muskie, but she's never netted any fish over 30 inches, since she's usually the one catching them. But today, she's netted both, and did a great job staying patient. Had she tried to force the net under the fish, this one could have easily been knocked off, or hooks caught in the net, preventing it from getting in. Well done on a tough fish.
You got something?
Yeah, he just followed me right to the boat. So he wasn't paying attention. And I lifted it up and pulled it right away from him. Probably another 40. Son of a.
Which way to go?
It just went straight down and. Oh man. Snooze you lose, eh? That sucks.
We're going to leave this fish and come back and then start running through the other areas we've seen fish to see if we can get lucky one more time.
Oh.
You see one?
Yep, one just came flashed at me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Get it. Oh, no! Oh!
Les!
Oh, man, that was a big one, Elvina.
Ah!
Oh,
I saw a shadow a little bit.
holy.
Ah! You disappoint me.
What a heartbreaker. While it can't be seen on camera, this was another mid 40-inch class fish. While reviewing this footage, we can spot the mistake. Switching the direction of pull while pointing at the fish. This gives just a brief moment of slack in the line and an ability for those hooks to pop out. If the fish was running a different direction and the rod stayed loaded, switching the position may not have had an impact. But it all happened so fast, there's no point dwelling on it.
That guy there was not really close to the
No.
rock. He was kind of out in the middle. Well, there's definitely some hiding out down in here, Brandon. And that guy over there that followed, that guy that hit, that other guy that caught. Yep.
Brandon. Go. Oh my gosh. Les, you're showing off.
Where are you?
Nice.
Yeah!
Good job. Good job.
Oh!
Guy?
No, it's smaller than the guy. Holy Jesus. Maybe he's bigger than I think.
Big boy.
Okay? Yeah. Oh, he's a 43 and a half.
Nice.
Oh.
Les, you show off.
Oh.
Okay, we're definitely onto something. The warmer water is holding the fish, and they're packing into small areas as opposed to being one fish per spot. And they're loving the Fire Tiger Medusa. The minor, sunset, and a hot bait. Things are lining up. It may be greedy to keep going, but opportunities like this don't come around too often, so we're going to milk it for everything it has. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get anything else to move, but after going 3 for 5 today and another sighting, we're pumped for what could be in store tomorrow. With yesterday's success and failures, we've got a lot to work with. We also chatted with others in the camp and nobody else had any action whatsoever. We've made the mistake of leaving fish to find fish far too often before, so we're going to try a few new areas that resemble what we found, but focus on expanding the areas that produced. Making the run to the first area, our attention is captured by minnows jumping along the shoreline weeds. Since this is near where we wanted to expand on, why not start here?
Oh, let go, babe. She just had a swipe at her. Yeah, keep pulling it. Nice. Big one? It looked like it, I don't know, looked alright.
What do I do?
Keep going. I might have to just cast again.
You get it, Les. Half of it is mine.
The major has just begun as we roll into the spot where we caught the first fish yesterday and lost one much bigger.
What's this?
I think.
Yep, big.
God, I'm here. I'm here. Tell us what you caught it on.
Oh, Mag Dog.
Woohoo! With the fishy.
That'll be a good shot for you.
Wow, what a thick boy. Here, let's see. Can you hold the ball?
I want someone lost this.
And that's brand new.
Kind of just
What a strange bite from such a big fish. It felt a lot like pulling into weeds, but I'm just glad to finally get one in the boat after yesterday's mishaps. I wonder if this is the same fish that jumped off. This is one thick fish.
Wow. Hey. He's cute.
Expanding on the area from yesterday with 3 musky encounters, we fish our way out from a deep pocket to the point that drops directly into the deepest water in this small area.
There was a swipe. Got him!
Yep.
Another wicked boat side eat. In our experience, muskie on the bay rarely eat boat side, so this is just an awesome experience.
Started on again the Meg Dog.
Heck
Ice
yeah.
cold perch. Let's do it.
This fish had some bleeding and was stressed from the fight and thrashing in the net, so it took a little while for it to swim off. Making sure you stay with the fish, keep it upright and facing into the wind or current until it swims off on its own is extremely important for conservation efforts. If they are left alone and go belly up, they will waste what remaining energy they have trying to upright themselves rather than recover, and this can lead to death. Returning to the spot where we missed the one this morning resulted in another boat side miss from a low 30-inch class fish, while we were having a few technical difficulties and weren't able to capture this on film. This was a weekend to remember, and fortunately we were able to get some clues early to crack the code, and with a little bit of luck we're able to put the puzzle together. 5 for 10 on hooked fish for the weekend and a couple more swipes and follows. Doesn't get much better than that.